Good morning, students. Today we are going to talk about bioluminescent waves, also known as a red tide. Now, there was a red tide in San Diego last week, so the water was all murky and red during the day. But at night, the bioluminescent tide
glows bright whenever the water is agitated. So, when the waves break, you can see them glow like they have here. It works through a chemical reaction. When the waves crash, it agitates the plankton that feed on the algae to create this glow that you see in the waves. So when it's glowing like this, and when it is a red tide, it can actually be poisonous to go in the water. However, there are times where there are algae blooms that are not poisonous. So this happened to be one of the times where the red tide was not poisonous and you were able to go into the water when it was glowing like this. Depending on where you are, the glow is brighter or dimmer. When I went surfing in the red tide, as you were paddling, your hands would glow. If you splashed the water droplets would glow. When you surfed, you could see a glowing trail behind your fins. So here is a video of another red tide where the person is putting their feet in the water and it is glowing. And it is very, very bright. It is hard to see how bright it is on camera, but when you're there in person, you can see that it is very bright. When you are in the water and it splashes like this, you are blinded because of how bright it is. See, his foot is lighting up the water right there. And it's almost like he's playing with molten lava. If you want to experience a red tide, it only lasts a couple weeks a year. And the very bright days like this only last 2 to 3 nights, and sometimes even less. It generally occurs during the summer when the water is warm, and then the algae blooms. You can see this pretty glowing like this. You will have to get lucky to plan a trip to see a red tide. It's mostly a phenomenon that you have to be there and then there's a red tide and then you go out at night. And it does glow during the day too, but you can't see it because of all the other light. So that is a red tide, and I hope one day everyone can see a red tide and see the glowing water. It's very cool. Very cool. Okay, bye guys.